Hey, welcome N.T.C.A. Okay, welcome N.T.C.A. board members to the second virtual meeting of the year of 2020. And if you're not a member, welcome. Always love to see guests, or in this case, see your little icon pop up that you've watched this video. In just a second, we will go to our pipeline, but first, this month our Cookie Monster was supposed to be the Raiders. We dearly miss whatever you were going to bring, and hopefully for our next physical meeting, we can possibly do a combined Cookie Monster for those who didn't get to bring anything when they signed up. But we'll leave that till future for when we know for a fact we're going to have another physical meeting. But other than that, we will go to the pipeline. Sandra?
One moment, and let me pull it up here on the screen for everyone. I should have it. All right, you should be able to see it on your screen now.
All right. Well, all right. So past due in February, these people will be drops. Dan and Denise Eris, Harold Layer, Nick Raber, and Alan Sheeg. Due back in March, Guy Coyne, Louis Pinard, Jack Wabinga. Due in April, Diane Richardson. Due this month in May, John Baker, Jean Halliburton, Steve Kirkton, Charles McFarland, Don Weil, and McKinnon Wright. Due next month, Charles Fernandez, Othello Gum Marsh, Todd Marsh, Micah Richardson, and Robert Rosenboom. We have 2 new members, Don and Cindy Knight from Grand Prairie, so we now have a total of 108 members.
Yay!
And this is Jeanette, and I just want to remind folks, we understand that we're not having a meeting, so it might be a little harder for people to pay. So we're not dropping people as quickly as we normally would. If you are returning and you just aren't able to get the money to the club, just drop me a note or call me or call one of the board members. Just let us know you're still going to be a member, but you just haven't been able to pay. And of course, you can always send a check to the P.O. box. We've had quite a few people pay by just sending in a check. So just let us know. We really don't want to be dropping people if you just aren't able to get the check in. Thanks.
Right. Yes, we know that it's a difficult time in terms of with social distancing and not being able to get out as much. So yes, we understand that there are some circumstances to where usually you would be paying at the meeting, and we just understand like there's going to be delays in certain things. Okay, on to the next business. We have our program by our vice president.
Yes, so today we're going to do it a little differently. I know at the last meeting we went right into the program right after. So this time we're actually going to stop the membership meeting, and then I'm going to do a separate video for the program, and that will be on our main website. It'll be the membership meeting, and then right below it's going to be the program. We're going to cover something that's a little basic. It's really meant for, people who are new to Corvairs, and stuff like that. We're going to cover how to change your front wheel bearings on your car. Like I said, I know for a lot of us, it's going to be pretty simple, pretty easy, pretty basic, but it's a video that we can have on YouTube that we can start, sharing with other people. Then we can also get other how-tos. So it's a good little leeway to get that done.
Awesome. Jason, is there anything you want to let our members know about future programs in terms of? So
right now with everything going on the way that it is, at least for next month, we're going to, the program's still kind of going to be up in the air. I don't really have anything set because I'm not sure if we're going to be meeting together, which we are hoping that we are, or if we're going to have to do another virtual one, which we're hoping we're not. So at least next month's going to be a little little last minute as terms of informing people what it's going to be, but we're going to, after that, start returning back to our normal programs. I'll have people lined up ahead of time, and we'll get the information out a lot easier.
Awesome. Okay, on to our treasurer's report. Jeanette?
She's muted again.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
and Jeanette, you're muted if you're trying to say anything.
All right, I keep muting it because we still hear echo, Jason. All right, one more time here. Let's see that. All right, can you see my desktop now?
Yes, we can.
All right, so the club just needs to know that we're back to status quo on our checking account, primarily because all the people who paid in for HOT have all been refunded their money, and almost everybody, just got a couple outstanding, haven't cashed their checks, but everybody's cashed their check. So we're back to our fund balance of $15,225. So as I said before, we've got some folks who are paying their dues by check. We do check the post office box. Even during quarantine time, we go in. And Jason helps us every now and then too on that end of town. So please feel free to mail it in. As I said before, we will just keep things moving along. So if anybody has any questions, they can let me know. But thank you, everybody who cashed your checks. It's easier to balance the checkbook when they're cashed. Thanks.
Awesome. Now on to activities. Real quick.
We're back.
This month's activity was supposed to be Robert Crow's hosting. What we were going to do was a day drive to Oklahoma and have a little barbecue. Unfortunately, with all of this quarantining and self-isolation, that activity has been pushed to September. So we're still having it, just later in the year. And for this month, Jason has a kind of mini activity that we can do. Jason?
Yeah. So what we're planning on doing is a driving tour. We're still staying socially distanced. We're going to be in our car. We'll have probably one rest stop, but wherever we stop, we're going to make sure that it's got a nice big parking lot so everybody can still be distant from each other, but still kind of visit. We should have some water and stuff. As far as the route and everything planned out, we do not have that currently yet, but we will get that figured out within the next week or two. But we will definitely not have it on Mother's Day weekend. We are going to try and have it on a Sunday to include the other members of the group who can't make it to a normal Saturday. So you might see some new faces, you might not. So we're going to do what we can. We're going to try and get the group together so that, we get out of the house, we get tired of quarantine, we can at least come together and drive our cars. So that's what we're going to try and do for the event this month.
Awesome. And just as a notice, all future months that have been signed up for, we still plan on having them as long as there is no restriction. So in terms of future month activities, we will be playing them by ear, just in terms of if we're able to have a physical meeting, then we will most likely be able to have a physical activity, just with some different parameters and new ways of going about it. But just to let everyone know, we do plan on still having activities and meetings. We're just trying to figure out what's best with these new soft openings and slowly going back to a new normal. On to the next bit of business. Is there anyone in this virtual meeting that has a tech tip for viewers?
Tech tip.
Watch the program.
Right? That's pretty much it. I mean, that's going to be a big tech tip / program right there. So I can't really think of any other than don't drop the grommet when you're putting in a dual master cylinder kit on your early model, because you might not find it. And then when you do, you'll realize that it was neither outside nor inside the car.
That's some craziness. Corvair count. For those of you who are new to watching these videos, every month we do a Corvair count for everybody who drove their Corvair to the meetings. And like last month, today or this month's meeting is a record high of Corvairs counted, because if you look outside and you have a Corvair, it's counted. So awesome numbers there, guys. We always usually have a little joke, whoever has the most, that car wins. So let's just say earlys, lates, forward controls, you all win. On to, and just real quick on Corvair counts, we usually have a contest every month for the Corvair of the month. Last month we did not physically hand out an award. This month will be the same way, but like I said last month, your car's here. Hey, you mentally win. Here's you can put a little sticker on it or a little ribbon. You won. But in terms of the actual awards, at our next physical meeting or meetings, we will have 1 or 2 winners. Who knows? So make sure whenever we have our next meeting to bring your Corvairs. So now is when we usually have an open forum. And I know that there are some things that some people would like to announce. So I know, Jeanette, you have something that you were interested in sharing. So would you like to share that?
Yeah, I got a couple things. I just want to send out a reminder to folks, an upcoming Corvair meet in October is the Great Plains Roundup. And we know that our national had to be canceled, the mini convention had to be canceled, and I think by October we're all going to be hungry for a great Corvair meet. And I spoke with the woman who's part of the group running it up in Little Rock, and it is the first weekend in October. And she said they're getting very excited up there because they expect a lot of people. So if you haven't had the chance to think about making plans for a fall mini vacation, go out to our website. We do have the Great Plains Roundup there, and get your hotel reservations in, because it's going to be a big one, because we're all going to have Corvair fever. So that's the first thing I wanted to share. It should be a fun event. Roundup usually is always a fun event, and it's not too far of a drive. The second thing I wanted to make a plug for, and it's not for me, it's for the Corvair Preservation Foundation. If you haven't noticed out on Facebook, for those of you who get into Facebook, you probably did, but if you don't go in very often, I've been running a sort of a charity donation event for CPF, making the masks that you can wear for your personal protection, for your own protection. And I started in April, and all the proceeds go to CPF. I'm not making money off of this. This is all for CPF. And the reason I'm doing it for CPF is they moved to the new museum. They had to cancel their mini convention, and we need to really help that museum out. I had a great response the first time round, overwhelming response. And I was asked to open it back up because so many people hadn't seen the Facebook. But if you're interested in buying masks, you can get hold of me. They're $15. I'll mail them. And like I said, all the proceeds go to CPF. It was a really great response the first time, and the second time it's really good. And then the last thing I want to share, I put it out there, but if for those of you again who don't use Facebook, Richard Lentinello is a real good friend of Corvair's. He has spoken at our national convention. He puts a lot of things out on the various Corvair Facebook pages, and he's the editor-in-chief of Hemmings Automobile Magazine, and he's a huge Corvair guy. He writes really good articles about Corvairs for Hemmings. And he wrote a book that's just published, I guess, the last 2 weeks called Corvair Style. It's kind of a cool cocktail table book. And he took lots of pictures of Corvair owners throughout the country. We're fortunate, Ray and I, that we know a lot of these cars already due to the concourse events and the national events. But it's a beautiful book, lots of beautiful color pictures in it. It's $35, $3 shipping. I'm not here to sell his book, except for it's not often we get a book published about Corvairs that's so beautifully done and so complimentary about our cars. So it probably make a really great gift for Father's Day for somebody. And of course, I have to plug a little bit that when I looked in the section on 1961s, I got to see a beautiful station wagon that I get to see every day when I walk out to the garage. So Ray's wagon is in here. So just a good idea for a gift. It's, again, a beautiful book. Okay. Those are my 3 items.
And I do have one plug as well. So this is actually for someone to do powder coating and stuff like that. Most of the powder coating that I've been doing on the restoration of my car, I've been able to do myself, but the workshop that I do it at, we had to close down. So I already had found this guy. He's really good. He's really quick, but he does a really, really, really good job. So here is his card. Ooh, maybe not. Please hold 1 second. I gotta turn off my background. You're gonna find out where I really am. All right. Oh, hold on 1 second. Gotta love these technical things. There we go. See, you can see where I'm actually at. So here is his card. I will put him in the listing for vendors and stuff on our website. Like I said, really good work. I've been really happy with everything that I've had him do so far. I recommend him completely for anyone who's needing powder coating done.
Awesome. Real quick, I want to bring it to light. Last month we had the board had voted on submitting the revised bylaws, and we submitted those to the club to vote because per our bylaws, any changes made have to be approved by the general club. And we have set up to do a virtual, we did have it set up to have a virtual vote, but that just, it's not working. So what we plan on doing is in the email that we send the transactional newsletters for every month, we will be sending an additional attachment of the bylaws for all members to read and review. And then at our next physical meeting, we will hold the actual vote. It's easier just to do it that way so that we make sure that we have the correct votes that we need. And in terms of 2/3 of the physical members present, 2/3 of those votes have to approve it. So it's just easier holding off the vote until our next physical meeting to make sure whether or not it's correctly approved or disapproved. Yeah. So just wanting to plug that in, make sure you're looking for it with the newsletter. It's not going to be a part of the actual newsletter, but it will be an attachment in that same email that the newsletter comes in. So I'm
gonna make a few sentences there as well.
Yes.
Now, as far as changes to the bylaws, there's not any that change the meaning at all of any of them. Really, it was just to correct some grammar issues. Also change some pronouns around. Instead of it just saying him, it says they. That way it includes our female presidents that we've had. I mean, and anybody else that might come in the future. It's just so that we kind of changed that around, and that's pretty much, well, that is all of the changes that were made. So it's nothing big.
So, but with all this craziness, we just want to make sure that all the members have access to the bylaws so that during this time they can read through them. And then just at our next physical meeting, we will hold the vote. And so with that, is there anything else our board would like to share with our viewers?
I would like to say thank you for the 40 people who actually have viewed the last meeting. I mean, I was able to go and take a look on YouTube and see how many people actually looked at our last meeting. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were our members as well. But we had about 40 views on that one. So that's, I would just like to say thank you for everyone who viewed the last one.
Oh, that is awesome.
I'd also like to add, if anybody has any suggestions, if we have to do these again, let's keep our fingers crossed we don't. If you have any suggestions on improving them or subjects, let us know. You know, this
Absolutely.
is new to us. We haven't done this before. This is our second one. We're all getting used to these video, living our lives by video. So if it's something you've got in mind, or as you're watching it and you go, boy, I wish they would fill in the blank, just tell us.
Yes, of course. We are always looking for new suggestions, anything that can improve these. Hopefully we don't have to do more of them for much longer. Yes, that is, thank you, Jeanette, for pointing that out. We are always looking for something to improve our meetings, whether they are physical or virtual. So we are always open to new suggestions, new comments, anything that you have, input, anything. We are always welcome to have it. So with that, is there anything else our board would like to share before we end this general meeting and we then have Jason post a program?
I think we're good.
We're good. So
I'm good.
with this, we will say goodbye to our general meeting, and soon you will have a video of our program by Jason. So thank you for coming.
Happy motoring,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.